Yo guys, it's Haunting Lime and welcome back to my channel. Today we're bringing Gengar into the Ultra League Premier Cup, and Gengar is an absolute beast in the Ultra League. So I'm pairing it up with Drifblim, which is XL, obviously Obstagoon Double Ghost. Such a strong combo, used before with different variations, obviously in the Great League, you can use it in the Ultra League. The reason why I'm mostly pairing Obstagoon with Double Ghost is because Obstagoon is super weak to fighting, and the Double Ghost in the back actually counters it really well. Drifblim is a really good safe swap. It's one of my favourite safe swaps in Ultra League, and this team performed really well. I highly recommend it. Played this team around about 2500s to get to about 26. And yeah, team performed really well, and obviously you have a lot of common leads like Empoleon, which is everywhere. Obviously, Sinnoh event had loads of people spawning, so everyone had a chance to get it. Gallade is a really strong safe switch as well as a really common lead, so it's again a really strong Pokemon. And obviously, pairing that up with Gengar just gives it so much opportunity to kind of bait your opponent's shields with Icy Wind, and yeah, has a lot of pressure for this team. So I'll get on with the commentary. Guys, if you are enjoying what you see, please let me know in the comment section below. I'll try and provide new teams, good strategies, and also more content in the future. So obviously my Drifblim gets taken out by the Empoleon, but obviously I've got a bit of energy already on my Obstagoon. Obstagoon, awesome. You need to get one if you can, because I think it's one of my all-time best leads, and I really like it because it makes such a strong core with Drifblim. And obviously Gengars are pretty much everywhere too. It counts Abomasnow, which obviously is a very common lead up in the higher elos, and obviously Umbreon is a really good counter against Umbreon. So if you have an Obstagoon, you can try it with Gunk Shot. I do like Cross Shot because it gives it added pressure against Steel types. This team kind of has a little bit of weakness to Steel types in the back, Empoleons that are hiding, but yeah, here obviously not the best matchup against Toxicroak, but I do have an energy lead, so this one's going to be quite easy. And this team is so good, so strong, a lot of pressure, really good at getting shields. The only thing about this team is it's highly skillful in the sense that it's very bait dependent. You got to be able to read your opponent correctly, and if you read them wrong and you throw the bait move and they don't shield, it'll actually cost you more in the long run. So here I'm able to get my opponent's shield, and I just switch into my Obstagoon to clean up because it already had loaded energy. So really strong team against very common leads. I am showcasing two sets in this video. I do hope you guys enjoy, and I'll concentrate a bit more on the commentary of the game now and kind of go through my strategies and tactics. Gyarados, not a very common lead you see, but Obstagoon has a fairly good matchup against it. The counters are resisted, but here I switch straight into my Drifblim because I do want to kind of debuff the Dragon Breath damage because it will start accumulating over time, and obviously Icy Wind does do quite a bit of damage against it. My opponent actually has a Scizor as his swap, so not great. Night Slash is going to do quite a lot. Bullet Punch is obviously going to hurt as well. It just starts chunking away, and here I go straight for the Shadow Ball, thinking I can get it through. Rasengan, as I call it, my double Naruto team, I'm able to get it through, but I am counted down, which is fine because I can just bring my Obstagoon in now to kind of absorb all the damage. Night Slash isn't going to be effective, and I can just counter it down, which is amazing. So yeah, so this is my double Rasengan team, as you probably know from my love of Naruto. Shadow Ball just reminds you of Rasengan, and the way this team can just throw them out constantly is pretty great. Ideally, I would have liked to showcase more Shadow Balls thrown by Gengar, even though I've showcased a lot of Drifblim Shadow Balls. They both hurt a lot, and obviously normally you want to go for the Shadow Punch with Gengar because it's one of his best bait dependable moves. I did Elite Charge TM it to get it last Ultra League because it's such a powerful move, and Gengar is an absolute beast against the Charmers. A lot of double Charmers in the higher elo, so a really good Pokemon to actually look into and consider using. I believe there was a team where somebody used Gengar in the lead, Obstagoon in the back with a Shadow Snorlax or a regular Snorlax, and yeah, I was the second person to get rank 24 this season. So another comfortable win there up against an expert trainer. So Obstagoon to Gengar, again, amazing lead. For some reason, with some of my teams, my most recent team, whenever I see a Gengar lead, even though my Berserker is really strong against it, I end up losing that game. So I do need to be really good at kind of guessing the bait moves. So here my opponent brings out his Kingdra as a safe switch, but I'm going to go straight with the Icy Winds. Here I'm thinking is going to be an Octazooka, and it actually is, so thankfully I didn't have to shield there. So it's a very guessing game there. I didn't think my opponent had built up to an outrage, but yeah, my counts suck. I can do like the really slow ones with 310 fast moves. So my opponent does shield the Shadow Ball, which isn't great, but I'm actually able to get this Icy Wind off as well. So this is not going to take it out, but it will get it into the range where my Obstagoon can just come in and farm, or even my Gengar. So brilliant, my opponent has no shields and my Gengar has 2 shields. This is pretty much looking like a GG. So no matter what this is, most likely it could be an outrage. I'm just going to go through because I think my opponent wants to debuff my Gengar, and he does get the debuff, which I actually didn't see. So that was my biggest mistake. So if I had seen that before, I was wondering why this Shadow Ball didn't do so much damage. I just saw it now. So if I realized, this would have been slightly different. Obviously got 2 shields, I'm not too worried. But yeah, this would have been a little bit more problematic. My opponent actually surrenders. So I didn't actually catch that. That's one thing about kingdras I don't like, because their Octazookas are almost guaranteed to get, I mean 50% chance, it's quite high. They do get quite a lot of debuffs, and sometimes if you don't see it, it's really bad. So up against another great lead, into the Lapras, switch straight into my Drifblim because I need my opponent to switch out. Drifblim doesn't want to see it anyway, and at this point, you know, Confusions are doing quite a bit of damage, and I know nothing the Gallade can throw at me can actually do anything to me, so I'm not going to shield anything, and I go straight for the nuke Rasengan. It takes it out because most Gallades don't want to shield. Icy Wind would be alright, but there's no point unless you want to farm it down, but again, you become quite low in health. Maybe in this scenario it would have been alright, because I don't want Lapras to get too much farm, but I am going to try and get this shield by going for another Rasengan, which it does connect, and it does a fairly good amount of health of this Lapras. Lapras is pretty tanky, so any chip damage you can get on it is really, really good. I do have the Obstagoon in the back to deal with it, but obviously it does also depend on what my opponent's type Pokemon is. I do bring it in, my opponent switches straight out into his Charizard, so here obviously I'm a little bit behind on energy, but because I've got 2 shields, this should be quite good. Obviously I've got to shield everything, because if it is a Blast Burn, it's going to take me out, and even Shadow Claws are going to hurt a bit. Gengar is tankier than Haunter, and it isn't as glassy as many people think, but it is still pretty glassy. So Standalone is a different level completely. It's pure glass. This is like glass, polycarbonate glass or something. So built up so much energy, got loads and loads of Shadow Punches ready, and this next one should take it out. Great thing about Gengar is it wins CMP against pretty much most Pokemon. It has such a high attack stat, and it's pretty awesome. Get my opponent's last shield, and now just bring in my Obstagoon to just cross chop this down. So cross chop is a really important and strong move. Gunk Shot would be quite cool, almost take it out actually. Gunk Shot would be really cool to counter the fairies, but I've got a really good coverage in the back for the fairies that I potentially will see. Not too many fairies in the 2500 range, not that I've seen with this team. So onto a bad lead. Also Dynamic Punch is going to really screw up my Obstagoon, so I'll switch out trying to get some energy lead. My opponent could have stayed. This is where I get absolutely battered by this Berserker. And I think this is what led me to actually use my Berserker even more. I've got like a rank 41 or level 41 Berserker for the Ultra League Premier Cup, and it's absolutely performing like a champ. A little bit of well, I won't spoil it. So, but I am going to debuff this because obviously it most likely will shield the Shadow Ball. I wouldn't even be able to get to it, so I just throw the Icy Wind. Or maybe I would have got to it, but I knew my opponent would shield because it would do quite a lot of damage. So now I can just bring in my Obstagoon. The only thing about this Berserker is, or Berserkers in general, they carry close combat, which is going to nuke my Obstagoon. So I've got a shield. I've got to commit the shield. Isn't great, but I do switch into my Gengar because I knew my opponent would switch out too. My opponent does have quite a bit of energy lead on me, so I do suspect this is going to be an Ice Punch because it's too quick to be a Dynamic Punch. Obviously, it wouldn't throw a Dynamic Punch anyway because it's not effective. Going straight for the bait here with the I'm going straight for the Shadow Ball. I didn't think my opponent would shield, and he doesn't, which is absolutely beautiful. And now I'm just letting this go through because I need, it doesn't actually take me out as well, and we simultaneously KO. So the idea was to kind of leave it going, but my opponent actually has a Charmer in the back. Not great, not ideal. This is where Gunk Shot would have been amazing, but I prefer the cross shot for the steel types. Nothing I could do there, it's just alignment in the end. It would have taken me out anyway. So onto a 4-1 start, so pretty good. Get a shelter as a reward. Again, loved using this team, highly recommend it if you're struggling to find a good, strong team. The only thing I would say is highly skill dependent. I'm not the most skilled player in the world, so I can say it's not overly skilled, but if you really want to use it properly or use it to your full advantage, it does require a bit of skill, because you need to know when to bait and when to kind of get your opponent's shields from them, because if you get them wrong, it will cost you, and I will show you some games that could have won potentially, but you know, throwing the bait cost me the game there. So I'm throwing off these icy winds because if I get it fast enough, Swampert has to actually do 3 hydro cannons to take me out, which is fine because Drifblim has a lot of health. It's quite a chunky boy, even though it has no shields or defenses. So now I'm going straight for the Shadow Ball, because Shadow Ball will take it out. Most likely my opponent won't shield. He does. Surprise, surprise. But I should be able to almost get to the next icy wind. So here I do commit a shield because I know my opponent won't get to it, and Icy Wind won't actually take it out, so I'm going to go for another Shadow Ball. So here I'm building up to another Rasengan. If I can get it through, it'll take it out. And Rasengan, and it does actually go through. Now we're at even shields, and this is where I actually fucked up quite badly. So I do go into my Obstagoon, which could have done quite a bit of damage. Obviously my opponent has my champ, so I can't stay in there and farm up a little bit to get a cross chop. So my opponent has a bit of energy on him already. So my champ obviously doesn't have the greatest matchup against Gengar. This is most likely a cross chop. I could let it go through. Rock Slide won't do much. This is my mistake. I should just let it go through, because Rock Slide wouldn't have actually killed me, and I still would have been able to get to a Shadow Punch or even a Shadow Ball. I'm able to farm it down, but this next Rock Slide, I could farm it down, but this next Rock Slide is almost going to take me out. That Rock Slide nerf is actually quite huge. It helps the Gengar out quite a bit. So I'm left in that so-called weed area where I don't have too much health, and I've got to throw this Shadow Punch and switch straight into my my Obstagoon. Thankfully, I've got quite a bit of health. If I didn't, and this guy had 2 back-to-back Hydro Cannons, it would have been enough to take me out. And also, a Hydro Cannon from Empoleon doesn't actually do too much damage. You can tank 2, and the third one will take you out. So yeah, Obstagoon, amazing lead because it has really good matchups against the most common threats, and using a shield, it can actually do quite a lot. So my opponent, I think, surrenders there and lets the last counter go through. So great win to me. Well played by my opponent. I will showcase where I do mess up. So this team isn't all about wins. I used it for 5 sets. Again, amazing lead. I went 4-1. And obviously I won't play this one, but then I went, I think, 2-3, then another 4-1, and I think another 3-2. So a really consistent team. Obviously you can't always get 5-0s. I was pretty close to getting a 5-0 one time, but it doesn't always happen. So here I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball, like I said before. Most Gallades don't shield, and this Rasengan is going to take it out, which is brilliant because I'm able to kind of win back switch. My opponent brings out his Empoleon, so Empoleon is going to be able to almost farm me down. Stupidly, I should have just gone for the Shadow Ball, because most likely he wouldn't have shielded, and yeah, that would have actually helped a lot in this fight. So he is obviously debuffed, and I knew he would switch out anyway, so that was something I need to learn and not make that mistake again, because Empoleons will always switch out when they see an Obstagoon come back in, so always go for the Shadow Ball. If it gets a shield, brilliant. If it doesn't, not too bad. So here, I am going to outpace this Dragonite to the charge moves, the Shadow Punches, but the Dragon Breath is going to be doing quite a bit of my health, so I've got to just throw them out as fast as I can. I am overcharging here because I know my opponent can't get to the next one before me. I'm going to throw this, and if it goes shielded again, I can just throw the next one, because obviously I can almost throw the next one. So you can see, surviving on 1 HP in a dream, we're to get this next one through. And now I've got 1 shield and this Obstagoon against this Empoleon. So this is the ending you want to see, because this counters and cross chops, I can do quite a lot of damage, and yeah, my opponent surrenders. So great win again to me, well played to my opponent. I think this is where I start losing or misplaying quite a bit. So Swampert into Obstagoon. Not great, but he can tank quite a bit. So again, I go straight with my safe swap because I want to get ahead on energy and throw the icy winds. I believe my opponent actually misplayed here, misclicked. He went and switched in his Dragonite, and not great on his power, obviously, because Dragonite is going to take a lot of damage from the icy winds. I don't shield here, I'm just going to commit to the farm down, because Dragon Claw won't do too much, and it's already debuffed, which is fine. And my opponent brings out a Kingdra, so this is a Swampert double Kingdra team. Quite unique, normally see Empoleon, and I'm going for the Icy Wind. Could just go for the Shadow Ball, to be honest, but I thought I could probably get to a second Icy Wind, so that was the play. 2 Icy Winds against this should do quite a lot of damage, so even the threat of my opponent's art rage won't do a lot. So he was able to fully farm me down. He did shield, great, so I got the shield from there. So here I bring in my Gengar to absorb this damage and also get ahead on energy, because obviously Gengar, it still did so much. Gengar's so weak. Gengar doesn't want to see Swampert because obviously it's going to do super damage with mud shots. It actually has Muddy Water, which is rare and common. It is quite a cool move, but the more energy efficient move actually is Hydro Cannon. Muddy Water does have a chance to lower your attack, your opponent's attack, so I think that's what my opponent was trying to go for, some spicy plays. He wasn't able to get the debuff there, and these Night Slashes are going to go through. I'm looking for the buff here. I don't need it, but it would help. I've got 2 shields, and I did think my opponent might actually have a Hydro Cannon and Muddy Water, but he gets the attack fall here, which isn't great. Now this Night Slash gets even less damage, and he actually shields it as well. So I have to get to the next charge move before my opponent takes me out. So I do decide to commit the shield here, because I know I can't, which is a good shield actually, because he threw a Sludge Wave. I do switch out to, because he switches out into his Kingdra. The reason why I switched out as well, because I needed to kind of, the reason why I switched out initially and kept my Gengar alive is because I knew my opponent Muddy Water would probably get me an attack drop, and I'll need that. So here I think my opponent actually gets to an Octazooka, not an Outrage, so this gives me the opportunity to actually farm it down, which, can you see, 1 health and 1 HP in a dream. I'm able to get this Night Slash off to take out the Swampert. So if it wasn't for that, I thought I was going to get taken out by the Dragon Breath. So able to hold on there and get the win. On to the next game. And this is a bad lead. Machamp always ready to mess up my day. So straight into my save switch Drifblim, and my opponent actually has a Snorlax. Snorlax is a great counter to Drifblim, a really good counter. Obviously I'm going to throw these Icy Winds to debuff the licks, but it won't do too much, and he's still going to win, so I don't need to commit any shields. Body Slams won't do a lot, so here I'm just kind of making sure my opponent has little to no energy. He will try and save Super Power for my Obstagoon, because that's the play. Just licking me down actually won't win him the game or win him the switch, so he has to throw Body Slams. Even though they're not doing a lot, they're still chipping away, so that is the play. So I'm able to get to a 3rd Icy Wind, so we're going to debuff it massively, but you know, I'm in that range where it can still lick me down and have energy for whatever comes in next. So I almost get to the next Icy Wind. Good job to my opponent for counting that carefully, because that would have been a switch turnaround for me. So here I'm trying to farm it down. I do actually farm it down, which is great. I didn't think it would throw the thing. So here I switch into my Gengar, and my opponent actually has a little muck in the back. So I did actually, obviously I'm not running Sludge Wave, I do decide to play it out, but because I know Machamp's in the back, it's going to take me out. I mean, I consider not surrendering, so we'll play to my opponent, but I knew Machamp was just going to breathe on me and I'll die, because this guy can't take a hit from Machamp. So onto a decent lead. The good thing about Shadow Dragonite is that these Night Slashes are doing a lot more damage and it can't chunk them, but obviously the Dragon Claws are doing a fair amount of damage back. So usually what I like to do is shield once and win the lead. Here I'll still commit the shield, and my opponent, if he wants to win the lead as well, this will take him out. He has to commit the shield here, otherwise he will lose switch, or he'll lose lead, sorry, and he can actually farm me down now, which is fine. I switch out into my Drifblim because I can shield this or even tank it. Decide to shield because that Dragonite is in farm range now. So my opponent actually brings out his Gengar, so obviously this Gengar is going to do a lot of damage to my Drifblim, so I'm going to debuff it straight away. Obviously I know that the Shadow Claw is still going to get a lot of energy. He would have most likely shielded my Shadow Ball, so there's no point going for that. And see, that Shadow Punch doesn't take it out. The XL thing coming in handy, but he's able to fast move me down. I wasn't able to throw anything, which is fine. Obviously he was debuffed as well, so maybe he would have almost killed me anyway. So I bring in my own Gengar here to kind of absorb the energy, or use the shield. So it's a Shadow Punch, it would have done quite a lot, and I'm able to Shadow Claw it down and have some energy going forward. My opponent brings out his Dragonite, which is probably a mistake on his part because I'm able to fully farm it down. In the back is actually an Empoleon. So this is where I messed up completely. So I tried to bait my opponent's shield, and my opponent was a bit cleverer than me. Expert ranking and all, he didn't go full for the baits. This is where I lost the game. If I didn't shield and went straight for the Shadow Ball, it would have been difficult. And ideally, realistically, I should have just gone straight into my Obstagoon. But it didn't have a lot of health, so I should have banked a move on Obstagoon. But it was difficult, so maybe it was a losing game anyway. It was one of those where I probably couldn't win. The Steel typing in the back had so much potential. So had I just thrown a Shadow Ball, would have been GG. So went 3-2 here. So overall, this team did really well. I think I went 16-8 from my 25 games, my 5 sets. But thank you for watching, guys. If you do enjoy, please like and also subscribe. Thank you. Take care.